Have you ever looked at your paycheck, seen a bigger number than last year, but somehow felt like you were still falling behind? You're earning more money than ever, but you just can't seem to get ahead? Well, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down precisely why your paycheck feels like it's shrinking, even when the numbers say it's growing.
Yeah, this one hits home for a lot of people, doesn't it? You get that raise, you see the bigger number on your payslip, and for a second, you feel like you've made it. But then, by the end of the month, that same old stress is creeping back in. I want you to know you're not imagining things, and you are definitely not alone. That feeling is very real, and there are some clear, concrete reasons why it's happening.
Okay, let's just get right to the heart of it. If you only take away one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Your paycheck is basically in a race. It's a race against rising prices, those huge, non-negotiable bills, and the debt from your past. And for a lot of us, it's a race we've been quietly losing, year after year.
So, to really get what's going on, here's how we're going to tackle it. We'll start with the paycheck illusion, then dive into inflation's invisible tax. After that, we'll look at your budget's heavy anchors, the lifestyle upgrade treadmill, and debt. And most importantly, we'll finish with what you can actually do about it, your levers of control.
All right, first up, let's talk about the big illusion. We need to draw a really clear line between the number printed on your check and what that number can actually do for you out in the real world. Honestly, this is the key to understanding everything else. So it all boils down to two things. On one hand, you've got your nominal income. That's the sticker price, right? The raw number. Your pay goes from $2,500 a month to $3,000. It looks and feels like progress. But then you have real income. And that, my friends, is the truth. It's what that $3,000 can actually buy you after your rent went up, your groceries cost more, and filling up your gas tank got way more expensive. That growing gap between the two, that's the frustration you're feeling. And this brings us to some super simple but really powerful math. Your real pay growth is just your regular pay growth minus the rate of inflation. Think of it like the final score for your salary. So if you get a 4% raise, which sounds pretty decent, but the cost of living goes up by 6%, you didn't really get a raise. You actually took a 2% pay cut in what your money can buy. And that leads us perfectly to the first big, bad force working against you: inflation. It's sneaky because you never see it listed as a deduction on your paycheck, but believe me, it acts like an invisible tax that just eats away at your spending power. So what is inflation in plain English? It just means your dollar buys less today than it did yesterday. It's why that same cart of groceries costs way more now than it used to. It's why going out for a burger and fries can feel surprisingly expensive compared to just a few years ago. It's a slow, quiet squeeze. Okay, let's walk through a quick, real-world example. Let's say you worked your tail off all year and you got a nice, solid 4% raise. On paper, that feels great. You're making more money. Awesome. But during that same exact year, the average cost of pretty much everything, we're talking food, gas, services, you name it, went up by 6%. See, this number is the invisible opponent in that race we were talking about. And here's the knockout punch. Your 4% raise minus that 6% inflation means your actual real-world purchasing power went down by 2%. You are technically richer by the numbers, but in reality, you're poorer. And that is the core of this whole frustrating feeling. You did all the right things, but you still lost ground. Now, it actually gets a bit more personal than that. That official inflation number you hear on the news, that's just an average for the entire country. But you don't live in the average, right? Nope. Your own personal experience with prices might be way, way worse.
See, for most of us, a massive slice of our budget gets eaten up by just a handful of things: housing, transportation, food, and debt. These are what I call your budget's heavy anchors. Now, if the prices in these specific areas are shooting up faster than everything else, then your personal inflation rate is way higher than the official one. And all of a sudden, that tiny little slice for everything else is the only money that feels like it's yours. And it's getting smaller and smaller.
This is so, so important to get. If rent in your specific city has just exploded, your reality is going to be a lot tougher than what the national numbers say. Let me repeat that. You live inside your own budget, and that budget has its very own inflation rate. When the cost of your personal anchors goes up, your whole financial life feels that squeeze.
Okay, so we've covered the big forces happening to you. But now we kind of have to look in the mirror and talk about our own habits. And listen, this isn't about blame or judgment at all.
It's just about understanding a super common, very human thing called lifestyle creep. Oh man, lifestyle creep is so sneaky. It's what happens when every single raise you get is immediately swallowed up by a life that's just a little bit more expensive. Each individual choice feels totally small and justified, right? The slightly nicer apartment, the newer car, one more streaming service. I mean, you earned it. The problem isn't any single upgrade. It's the pattern of spending every new dollar that comes in. And here's the trap you fall into. If every raise just leads to permanently higher bills, you're basically stuck on a treadmill. You're running faster, sure, you're earning more money, but you're not actually going anywhere. Your savings don't grow, and that feeling of being one emergency away from disaster, it never really goes away. Okay, let's talk about the last big piece of this puzzle, and boy, is it a big one. Debt. I want you to start thinking about debt in a new way. Think of it as paying rent on your past decisions. It's a claim on money you haven't even made yet. Think about it like this. Every single dollar you send to a credit card company or for a car loan or for a student loan, that's a dollar from today's hard work that's going to pay for a choice your past self made. It's not for your life today. It's not building your future. It's just servicing the past. And it makes your paycheck smaller before you even get a chance to use it. Okay, I know that was a lot, and it can feel pretty heavy. But listen, the whole point of understanding all this isn't to feel defeated. It's to see where you actually have some power. It's to see your levers of control. So let's shift gears and talk about what you can actually do. Here are 5 real, concrete things you can do. Number 1, just get aware. Calculate what percentage of your take-home pay is already gone before you even start, thanks to fixed costs and debt. 2, slow the creep. Before you make an upgrade, run a little stress test. Ask, could I still afford this if I took a pay cut? 3, watch those anchors. Be so careful with new, huge expenses like houses and cars. Those decisions can lock you in for years. 4, attack your debt. Focus on high-interest debt first to free up your future paychecks faster. And finally, number 5, use the data. When it's time to ask for a raise or find a new job, come armed with real market data to back up what you're asking for. So let's wrap this all up. Your paycheck isn't just a number. It's really the final score of a battle. On one side, you've got your income, and on the other, you've got the forces of inflation, those heavy fixed costs, lifestyle upgrades, and past debt. Just understanding that this battle is happening is the very first step to changing the outcome. And hey, just a quick disclaimer, of course, everything we've talked about today is for educational purposes only. This is not personal financial advice. You should always chat with a professional who knows your specific situation. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What could your life actually look like if your paycheck felt truly larger? Not just in numbers, but in freedom, in options, in peace of mind. If this explainer helped you see your money a little more clearly, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Money Made Simple for more breakdowns just like this one. Let me know your biggest aha moment in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.